Welcome to this afternoon's Bath 2021 to 2022 events showcase. We've got an exciting hour or so of showcases and events to share with you. I was just saying, it's absolutely lovely. The sun is shining, there are people in the city, and all of the people who we've lined up to talk to you today are here to celebrate events that are going to take place in the city. And I think we can all understand that events really need our love and support this year more than ever, after the year that they've all had. And it's one of those marvellous things where we can feel good about actually doing good. So we're going to have fun at all these events, and we're going to be doing good for a whole industry. Obviously, from our point of view at the BID, we love events in the city because it brings people to the shops and restaurants and cafes and hotels that are at the kind of heart of our business community. So I'd like to welcome our audience. We've got an interesting collection of different groups who we've invited. We've invited our friends from the local press and regional press, and I hope you're all in the room. I can't see you, but I trust you're all there. We've got invitees from the hotels in the city, so to make sure that all of the hotel managers and front desk people know all of the exciting things that they've got to pitch to either their guests or their prospective guests. And of course, we've invited the marvellous welcome ambassadors who are part of the BID team, because they're the ones who are out there telling the general public about your great events. So I don't have anything further to add except to say, really warm welcome from the BID, and we hope that this will be something really positive that everybody will get something out of, and I'm sure it's going to be very interesting because there's lots of videos to watch, so not the usual Zoom fodder, let's say. So I'm going to hand over to our technical expert. The events you're going to have in date order, so the soonest coming to the furthest away. So I think I can't remember what the first one is. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm going to hand over to our first event.
We've got the Alfresco Theatre, so we're welcoming David Westman from the Alfresco Theatre.
Hi everyone, very nerve-wracking to go first, of course, because I have no idea what anyone else is going to say. Yeah, very, very excited to be bringing the Alfresco Theatre Drive-In to Bath in May, so the 6th to the 9th of May. So as Emily mentioned before, we, as Brand Events, we work on a number of events, and we've worked in Bath for a number of years. So most notably with Pub in the Park Bath. And then obviously due to a number of reasons last year, we didn't go ahead in any of our towns, but we did manage to run a tour of 8 drive-in theatres, so cinema, comedy, and great food, and also some drive-in gigs. And we've sort of reinvented that again for this year so that we can kind of crack on with some great events. And the Alfresco Theatre is coming to Worley Lodge Farm, 6th to 9th of May. We've got comedy from Mark Watson, who's bringing Angela Barnes and Zoe Lyons. We've got a great night of partying with Bjorn Again, the ABBA show. And we've also got the Gruffalo live on stage alongside the drive-in cinema event as well. So it is a completely drive-in event, so very COVID secure. Obviously, we're going quite early with this, so we're having to be very careful, but we're very confident with everything that we ran last year that it's going to be a great success. And the Gruffalo, in fact, live on stage, who knew, has sold out already. Everybody wants a piece of the Gruffalo, which is lovely. We've got sing-alongs with Grease on stage and Bohemian Rhapsody, and also The Greatest Showman. And then obviously, because we're all about food, we've got dishes from Tom Kerridge, from Rick Stein, Jason Atherton, Atul Kochhar and Paul Ainsworth. And yeah, we're very excited to be coming back.
Fab, thank you very much, David. So just to mention to everybody, you're welcome to put questions into the Q&A as we go. We will be picking up questions as we go along. So if you've got anything while you're watching someone's video, then do pop it in, and we'll also have some questions at the end. So David will be back a little bit later to talk us through Pub in the Park. But next up, we've got two of Bath's flagship events in the city from the Bath Festivals team. So we're welcoming Ian Stockley along. And firstly, we're going to have a video from the Bath Festival, and then Ian will talk us through that. And then we're going to have a video from Bath Children's Literature Festival, and we'll hear a little bit about their plans for that too. So thank you very much, Ian, and let's watch the video.
Thanks, Emily.
Oh, I think we've had our first technical issue.
Thanks, Emily, for playing that and doing the technical and introducing and setting this whole event up. Hugely, yeah, grateful for it and having this platform just to talk through. I know it's a speed dating session and I've got 3 minutes and I've already used 2 of those probably through the demo, but I just wanted to say how excited we are about bringing a hybrid festival back to Bath this year. Bath Festival is all about music, books and performance, specifically making use of the wonderful venues and open spaces we have in the city. Particularly delighted to be opening in Bath Abbey on the 17th of May, the first day on the current roadmap. Everything's crossed that we are allowed to put on events socially distanced with inside venues. It'll be also the first event that Bath Abbey are hosting since the Footprint project. Not the whole Abbey's open yet, and we are putting in there Bath Festival Orchestra, which is an orchestra we launched in lockdown. Strange thing to do in lockdown, but it's a very exciting platform. It's a chamber orchestra for young musicians coming out of colleges, so it'll be their first orchestral professional orchestra, who are really broadening what classical music in the orchestral sense can bring to a different audience. So the whole aspect of youth, technology, and also taking festivals to audiences. So although in the Abbey on the Monday, where BBC are coming in to do their first live broadcast after lockdown, on the Tuesday, the orchestra is going to be playing in a sort of flash mob session in Green Park. So hugely excited by that. But yes, it's the hybrid performance is also really important, and I think probably is here to stay. And actually, as we speak, over 3 days, today, tomorrow and Wednesday, we're doing a lot of the recording for what we will then live stream of 16 of the events that are going to take place in the venue-based festival between the 17th and the 24th of May. And then on the 28th of May, for 2 weeks, we'll be streaming 15 of those 45 to 50 events that are taking place, as I say, across the Abbey, the Forum, Comedia, and the assembly rooms. So yeah, hugely exciting. A number have already sold out. There is a tremendous amount of pent-up demand there. We've moved the finale weekend, which most of you will know takes place on the Rec, was going to be the 30th and 31st of May, but we've moved that through the 7th and 8th of August. And again, since we announced the change of date at the beginning of March, have been really excited to see evidence of this pent-up demand coming through and sold another 2,000 tickets in that first month of sales. So I think we'll be back to 2018 audience levels there, with McFly headlining on the Saturday, UB40 on the Sunday. yeah, and a real family affair on the Rec. And some great literature events in addition to the music. The other music event I'd probably mention is Guazzala's 6, which is in the Roman Baths, where we're doing 2 performances an hour around the Great Bath. Again, I'm afraid both of those have already sold out. And then a range of books of fiction and non-fiction. And I can see Emily saying I've overrun time and I've got got to probably move into the Children's Literature Festival. But yeah, very excited about doing this combination of venue-based, live, socially distanced events in May, together with the important, what we're calling Bath Festival at Home, this digitally streamed programme. Obviously for those who can't fit into the socially distanced reduced capacity, but also taking the festival out to much beyond Bath and attracting people to visit Bath come 2022, when hopefully we really will be back to normal. So yeah, it's very exciting that. And we started digital programming with our Children's Festival in October 2021, and I'll talk a little bit more about that after we've introduced the Children's Festival with a very short video, which takes place this year from last weekend in September to first week in October. So that sort of first week of October, the 10 days. So Emily, if I could just ask you to press the button. So yeah, there are the dates for you. Friday the 24th of September to Sunday the 3rd of October. And in the middle of that, in the working week from Monday to Friday, we, in addition to the public events that happen either weekend, we will be developing the pilot project that we did in October 21, which is a digital schools program, Reading is Magic Festival, which actually works in partnership with a number of festivals, both around the UK, and also we go into North America and are building out our collaboration with other partners in terms of bringing children's authors and illustrators right into the school classroom and digitally streaming them into that. And it was so successful in 2020 that we're going to repeat and build on that for our schools program, which takes place in the middle of the Children's Literature Festival this year, rather than what we've done historically, which is coach loads of children coming into the Guildhall. The survey we did after the Reading is Magic Festival was they would like to, continue with the streaming of authors and illustrators into the classroom. It's significantly easier for them to manage as schools. It reduces costs of coaches and everything. So we're absolutely going to continue that in a new normal world. And the whole Children's Literature Festival is all about introducing children of primary and early secondary school years to authors and illustrators, to really embed them with a love of reading and illustrating and all the wonderful stories that, addict you to reading at an early age. And hugely popular program of 10 days, as I say, the 27th of September through to the 3rd of October. Now, none of the authors have yet been absolutely confirmed, but although we're about to launch the May Festival, we're well into programming and buttoning down all the authors and illustrators that will be coming into the city late September, early October. So yeah, thank you very much. I hope that's given you a flavour of both festivals.
Fab, thank you very much, Ian.
We haven't had any questions directly, but I've got a question for Ian. Sorry.
On,
I was talking to Ian earlier, and it's thousands of people that we would expect to come to the city during the May period. But also, have you done any sort of joint packages? We've got both hotels and publications in the room, and how would people find those? So if somebody wanted to have afternoon tea and then go and hear an author and then go out for supper and then stay the night in a fancy hotel, have you got any of those kind of packages built? And if you have, where would I find one to buy one?
Well, I think what we're doing is we're going to be, particularly with Bath Bid levy pairs and everything, we're developing, as we've done in previous years, but online combined offer packages. And we would put those onto the respective websites of partners and onto your own website that you're now running. We do have hotel partners and travel partners and try to get a partner in each sector, but would love to talk to anybody who is interested in developing their own specific offers, where, you know, we run competitions, we offer different things that engage your particular audience with the festival at the same time as giving them an experience across different outlets within Bath, be they shops, be they restaurants. So absolutely open to talk. There's no close down because anything has already been negotiated and closed on an exclusive basis. So would love, you know, please, I'll let, well, Alison and Emily have my contact details, but please, yeah, absolutely make contact and we can discuss bespoke packages.
That's great, thank you. And do you know, again, I'm thinking of the hotels rather than the press on this, but do you know what, do you have a really clear picture of who your audience is? Do you do that sort of audience analysis? So who comes to Bath who might not normally come to Bath, or is it mainly local or regional? Or
no, we have tremendous analysis on the segmentation of our audience, and, you know, who comes from further afield than 25 miles. The age profile of the Bath Festival, as opposed to the finale weekend, is generally older. It's with high disposable income, 45 plus. The finale weekend, 7th and 8th of August, starts slightly younger, still older than your sort of your Reading or your Leeds festival, but 35 plus, so it's down, and that's similar to our children's festival, which is sort of 35 to 45 really, and then the grandparent audience of 55 to 65. So yes, but all pretty high spending, very, very, and a lot of the May festival are, you know, as I say, 55 plus, ABC1. So that's the sort of defined profile at a very sort of top line level. But yeah, I hope that helps.
Thank you. Well, it might be useful for people to understand if they're thinking about, you know, trying to combine something with you, understanding what types of people. Yeah. And obviously, but from the press perspective, the message is Bath is open and welcome, and there's something for everybody. And so we hope that, you know, and even if even if people can't run to half a dozen tickets to go and take their children to see an orchestra, they can come and see it pop up in the street. So you know, it's a great opportunity for people to be exposed to that culture. Yeah, thank you so much. Definitely. I'm going to hand back to Emily now. So you're all very quiet and well behaved. We've got no questions, but please feel free, and then I'll just pass them on or invite you to speak and ask your question directly, or save them till the end. Okay, thank you.
Fab, thanks Alison, and thank you very much Ian. So next we're moving on to Bath Fringe Festival, and we've got Wendy Matthews here to talk a little bit about what their plans are for this year. We're going to start off with a short video of some of their activities from last year.
Bedlam! Bedlam! Bedlam!
This is Bedlam!
Hi. Thanks, Wendy.
Yeah, sorry, am I supposed to start now? Yes. Yeah, that was a clip from our Bedlam Fair, which we actually ran in October, rather than, we weren't able to do anything last year because of everybody knows why, and we put it off, and then eventually had a little street event, distance street event, that was a bit of a pop-up in October, and it went really well, and it wasn't advertised, so people were quite surprised to see it on the street. We're really pleased that this year it's looking, well, it's taken us, you know, months to sort of figure out whether we could or couldn't do anything, and we now figure that we can actually do a Fringe Festival from May the 28th. It would normally last for 17 days, And there will, in fact, be quite a lot of activity in the first 17 days, but we're going to run on through into June so that we can actually do our Bedlam Fair street event on June the 27th, which is a week after, hopefully, things have opened up properly and we won't have to worry too much about distancing, and people will be happy to be out on the street again. In between time, there will be quite a few other things going on. We can't announce them all yet because, you know, we're still programming, really, to be honest, and it's all a bit late, but we will have it all out there in the next couple of weeks. What we're really pleased about is that our partner venues, people who normally involved in the Fringe, such as the Rondo and Mission and Widcombe Social Club and Comedia, are all sort of launching around the start of our dates, you know, so the Mission are actually putting on events that should have happened last year. There's a Bath University students theatre. They're doing The Importance of Being Earnest, and there's a Jack Brel tribute. It's not a tribute show. Sorry, it's a Jack Brel concert. So that's and the Rondo have the Natural Theatre Company with their play that's been put. Sorry, I'm not making a great deal of sense here. I'm not used to speaking in public anymore. The Natural Theatre Company are taking over the Rondo for 2 weeks with Dirty Bath, I think that's what it's called, which is a romp through what it was like in Regency Bath. So we're really pleased to have those events. I think Nick will talk later more about what the Widcombe Social Club have got, and we have there's some comedy events coming on every Friday during the Fringe, I think, and Comedia. I don't know if Comedia are joining us today, but there's a whole heap of things. One of the gigs that I particularly would look forward to is the specials with Talisman, who people who've lived in Bath a long time will remember as a premier reggae band back in the day. So alongside the Bath Fringe Festival is our sister visual arts festival, Fringe Arts Bath, that will be running in shops and venues, unusual spaces, outdoors, throughout the fortnight of the Fringe, and maybe longer as well. And we're also taking advantage of other empty shops with pop-up experiences, such as our partnership with local street theatre company Ramshackalicious, who are putting together a show called Club Supreme, which is also a partnership with Bath Spa University and the Natural Theatre Company, and that will be popping up in a shop in the city centre during those first couple of weeks of June. I can't tell you more about that because it's evolving as we speak, but it will certainly be an experience. We're really hoping that there will be other events happening in pop-up events in shops as well. We're still working on that one. And let me have a think, what else will be going on?
So while you're just thinking, Wendy, I had the same question. That somebody's asked when. So obviously, where you've got events in venues, they're going to be bookable. Will they be bookable through your website or the venue website? And where will people be able to find the programme? How will people find out?
It will be on the venue's website, and I mean the individual events will be on the venue's website, and the Bath Fringe website will have a global details of all the events. It's taken us a while to get this sorted just because everything's so late this year, but we're convinced that we will be able to get it up and running fairly soon, and there will be a brochure out as well, hopefully at the beginning of May. Yeah, it's a pity it's late, but you know we're
that's okay. Everybody's
we're just really pleased
in
to do something, to be honest.
True spirit of the Fringe.
Yeah.
Well, so if I don't know if anybody's listening who would like some copies of the brochure, Wendy, if you wanted to drop some off at the bid office, then we can hold some, and people can, if they're not on the normal circulation, then we can get some to you. And then obviously we'll share on our channels, certainly as soon as your programme is available for people to know. but your advice is look on Comedia and Widcombe Social Club and Mission Theatre and Rondo if you want to book the individual venue kind of events that
yeah. But obviously there'll be click-through links from the Bath Fringe website for everything as well, as usual. I think there are various, I can't go through all the booking options because there'll be myriad, I think. Yeah,
that's absolutely fine, thank you.
Yeah.
And if people are looking for the kind of outdoor, like your classic, what you always do, your Bedlam type activities, that's the weekend of that June the 29th. That's the weekend.
Sunday the 27th of June, yeah.
Sorry, Sunday the 27th.
No, that's fine. There may well be things before and may well be things after, but Sunday the 27th is Bedlam Sunday, when there will be animated street furniture and a moving carpet and all sorts of other things that I won't go into at the moment.
Sounds really exciting. Okay,
that'll be taking place at Saw Close as well. So,
as usual, thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much, Wendy. So we are moving on next to Bath Comedy Festival, and that is, as Wendy mentioned, because we've got the Bath Comedy Club, which is starting up from the 28th of May. So I'm going to hand over to Nick Steele from Bath Comedy Festival, but first up we've got a little preview of Bath Comedy Club, and just to give you a bit of warning, there's a little bit of strong language to watch out for.
Very emotional day for me. I met my wife in Bath and I thought she was at home with the kids. But no, the Bath Comedy Festival, they say you play it twice in your career, once on the way up and once on the way down. It's nice to be back.
Anyway, I'm Arthur Smith. If you don't know me, you might have seen me in the recent TV series The Crown, where I played Princess Margaret. Yeah, I was good, wasn't I? And I needed no makeup or anything. And or you might remember me as the voice of the woman's stomach in the Yakult ad. Got fired, replaced by a younger sounding stomach. Some of you might know me from my appearance on TV recently in a show called Celebrity Dogging. Don't know if you saw it. It was me, Stan Collymore, some bloke from EastEnders, hanging around in a car park on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. And every now and again, one of us would get in the back of a car and have sex with a woman with a bag over her head who turned out to be Anne Widdecombe.
I think I just said that straight down the barrel of the camera. Don't you fuck off. Stay where you are. You're at your house. And may I say it's a pleasure to have you with us. You're really making this gig, you are, actually. I know you're alone in your place at the moment, but like we're all here and we're just thinking, what is it? There's a vibe. There's just a vibe. It's you.
Tell you how nice it is to be on a stage in a room with real people, because it has hit us as a comedy community quite hard, as you'll imagine. We've been doing obviously Zoom gigs, we've done outdoor gigs, we've been doing drive-in gigs. I last night was in a brewery car park in Leighton Buzzard. That's where I was. It was like a cross between a gig and dogging. It was a very interesting thing. And I tell you what, worst heckle I've ever had, someone just looked at me, they just drove off, just drove out of the car park.
Fab, welcome along, Nick.
Am I unmuted now?
Yeah.
Right, I can't see myself, so goodness knows what you're going to be able to see of me. That was a flavour there of the Bath Comedy Club nights that we've been holding from August to December last year. We managed to do about 8 nights indoors, distancing disguised as cabaret seating. As you saw, there was great atmosphere, and we also developed live streaming whilst we were doing that, so to reach an audience at home and beyond who couldn't come in person. And we're getting that better and better as we go along. We're actually going to launch a TV channel on Vimeo very soon, which one can pay to view any number of these things that we've done in the past and other exclusive content that we're gathering speed with very quickly. So that's all sort of new stuff that's come out of the pandemic that we're going to keep going on. So it's all very positive, adding value as we go along. And what else have I got to tell you about? These comedy club nights will start again on the 28th of May at Whitcomb Social Club. So that does combine with the start of the Fringe quite handily. And we'll do them every 2 weeks, just about year round from now on, apart from August, which we take off for Edinburgh, or if Edinburgh happens, or holiday purposes, and around festival time. So obviously we couldn't do an April festival this year again, but what I'm doing is 2 weeks in the latter half of July, a Permission to Laugh festival, assuming we are allowed to again by then, which I'm sure we're all positive about these days. I mean, it's a month after the June deadline, or the June hopeful 21st date. So I'm going to honour as many of the cancelled or postponed events from last year's festival that never happened in those last 2 weeks of July. And I've already got things like Simon Evans, Ian Shaw, Henning Vane, Jeff Norcott, Marcus Brigstock, hopefully, Phil Nicol, Arthur Smith, you know, the usual sorts of wonderful names we get in to the social club. And that's being one of our pet venues. Also doing the new act competition, and we're going to be using the Forum new coffee house space, which is a wonderful small venue it's going to turn into. And part of the brilliant news coming out of the Forum that we've got the ballroom, the coffee house and the main house available there now. It's really under Bryn's leadership. It's turning into a fantastic venue that Bath has needed for so long. So we're partnering very strongly with him down there and his team. So yeah, a 2-week festival in July, which will have about, I'd say 60, 70, 80 events, hopefully in at least year-round comedy clubs and pop-up events like Faulty Towers dining experience in the Bird Hotel, hopefully, and other things we partner with other people throughout the year. So it's all good news really coming from our end, and hopefully a lot of laughs. I think that'll do, Emily, will it?
Thank you, Nick. That I'm just really bowled over by the variety that we're being presented with so far. It's we're only four events in. It's fantastic. Thank you. I haven't had any new questions, but yeah, we look forward to laughing a lot. And to laugh sounds like a great idea.
Fab, thank you very much, Nick. So next we're back with David Westman. We are at the 18th to the 20th of June now, and it's Pub in the Park. So we'll start off with a short video from Pub in the Park.
Hello again. Those scenes probably aren't going to be quite as reflective of how our event will look this year, just because it is the week before everything officially gets unlocked. So we will still be operating at sort of 50% capacity for our Bath event, which is a real shame, but it does mean that we have almost sold out now across the whole weekend. So so tickets just remaining now on Friday evening and Sunday. It is our mostly kind of rolled over event from 2019, sorry, 2020, getting very confused there. And we've got Tom Kerridge hosting alongside James Martin. We've got a load of chefs from Atul Kocher, Rob Howell, Josh Eggleton, Stephen Terry coming to do demonstrations across the 3 days. Restaurants include a couple of locals, so Root and the Pony and Trap, alongside Tom Kerridge's The Hand of Flowers, Stephen Terry's The Hardwick, and I think new for this year is The Mariners by Paul Ainsworth, so bringing a bit of Cornwall up to Bath. So some really exciting food coming up. I mean, obviously the restaurant industry has been hit particularly hard in the last year, but we are delighted to still be kind of working with those guys whilst they try and reopen their restaurants and try and get back onto kind of a level footing. We've got music, as always, across the weekend. So Tom Walker and Jade Bird on Friday night, Sophie Ellis-Bextor and Oasis Saturday afternoon, Rudimental and the Cuban Brothers on Saturday evening, and then Sunday finishing off our Lazy Sunday session with Beverly Knight, the Kingdom Choir, who played at the Royal Wedding, and a bit of DJing by Craig Charles. So it's yeah, we're really excited to be back. We really missed it last year, and driving events, although kind of saved our business, you know, it's nice to be returning to a bit of normality. But so far this year, we haven't really partnered much with you guys in Bath. So we're very keen, although we've got limited tickets to sell, we've got an audience who want to hear about what else they can do whilst they come and visit Bath. So it would be great to kind of feed that into those people. We've got around kind of 25,000 people on our database, plus around 8,000 attendees across the weekend. So anything that we can do to kind of get people safely moving around the town and kind of either, you know, staying in local hotels, visiting local businesses, restaurants, pubs, etc., then we're all for it.
Thank you. Really helpful. And oh, I'm sorry, I'm horribly echoey. Again, we haven't had any questions, but I was going to ask you the same questions as I asked Ian. Obviously, you've sold out of your tickets, and that's a really brilliant offer that you've made for businesses, and we'll definitely come back to you and see how we can and help feed you the information that you can then send out to your mailing list. So that's great. What do you know? How many people come from, because obviously you run events all over the country, it'd be interesting to understand whether that means that people who come to your festival are slightly different than the other festivals. And so do people come from further afield because they know you from Marlow or wherever else?
Yeah, I mean, our average audience age is around 45 plus, slightly younger on the evening sessions, and slightly more kind of family oriented around the afternoon sessions. It is predominantly from Bath and kind of the surrounding towns and villages. We kind of pull in from Cheltenham and Gloucester, kind of from that way, and from Bristol. And as I was talking to Emily before, we get a surprising number from Cardiff coming down, but I hear that's not unusual. You get quite a lot of people coming over from Wales. So it's, but it is mostly locals or local-ish. We tend not to get a lot from the town centre itself, city centre itself. And there is some crossover between kind of Marlow and Chiswick and Warwick, because people don't always like to go to the same town kind of 2 years in a row, but it's not loads. It's sort of a, you know, a good few hundred, but that's about it.
That's great. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to pass back.
I'll just ask a question, David.
Oh, yes.
It's Ian here from Bath Festivals. How, I understand that you're only bringing in half the capacity to what you would be if we weren't in this situation, pandemic-wise, but how do you manage that once they're in from a social distancing aspect?
Again, really good question. So we've actually doubled, I don't think we've doubled in Bath actually, but we've increased the kind of footprint of the event itself. We're introducing a one-way system around the whole show, and kind of what we learned from Garden Party last year, where we had a drive-in gig. Essentially you drove in and you had your own dedicated space, and that's the sort of thing that we're looking at for Bath in particular. So it will either be kind of pods for up to the amount of people that are allowed to congregate at one time. Last year we had to react quite quickly where the government changed advice from being allowed to have 10 people to suddenly only being allowed 6. So, we'll react accordingly if we need to kind of split out those gardens or kind of those spaces on site. Obviously, all the usual things that would apply, such as face masks, sanitizing stations, all of that will apply. And if we need to, and hopefully we don't, it does depend on what the guidelines say, and if things change, we will have on-site service from the restaurants themselves. But at Garden Party last year and at the drive-in events, we did do a golf buggy service. So, if we need to kind of limit the amount of moving around, we're very set up to kind of react to that and make sure that we're safe and secure.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fab, thank you very much, David. So next, I think a lot of people in Bath are very much looking forward to a party. So we have Bath Carnival next. So we've got a short video, and after which we'll introduce Stu Matson to join us to talk about their plans for this year.
What does Carnival mean to you?
It's about getting in touch with my creative side.
Carnival is celebrating with all the people that I love.
Unity, togetherness, love is a special part of our city.
Carnival makes me feel like the best person in the world.
For centuries, carnivals have played a special role in our society. These vibrant parades, festivals, and street parties are the beating heart of communities around the world. And each one has its own unique story. In the beautiful city of Bath, over 40,000 people experience the magic of Carnival every summer, uniting the community through celebration. With free access to creative activities throughout the year, thousands of lives are enriched and vital support networks nurtured. Carnival is for everyone. Children, families, local groups, vulnerable people, and businesses all play their role. With the city's amazing charities, volunteers and artists, no one is left behind. And together, they fight to keep Carnival alive.
Fab, and welcome along, Stu.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, lovely.
Cool. So that animation, we did that last year. So we haven't actually released that officially, so that's kind of a preview, but it should hopefully give an idea of what the end result of our activities in the year is. So we do workshops in the local community with schools and community groups and special needs groups, and it culminates in a free event. And we usually do that across the highways throughout the city centre with an accompanying festival at Sydney Gardens and the Bath Rec Ground. Obviously, the footage there is very, a lot of people in quite enclosed spaces. So it's going to look a bit different this year, but we are in July. So we're Saturday, the 10th of July. So in theory, with the roadmap, things will have been reopened and there won't be the same restrictions. But to obviously be risk averse, we're not going to be doing anything on the highways this year. And there's restrictions for a different reason in Sydney Gardens this year with the works happening there. So we're going to be localising everything down to the Bath Rec Ground, which is kind of the home of the carnival anyway, where it usually starts and finishes. So we're effectively going to just take the core elements of the event. It will still be free. It will all be located at the Bath Rec Ground, where there's a nice big open green space. So we're going to have multiple stages where community groups that would normally perform, school children that would normally perform in the costumes that they've made and the dance choreographies that they've learned throughout May and June, they'd normally do that in the procession. They'll now be having short stage performances, so their family and friends can perform in front of them still. And then we'll have workshops, so everything from Zumba to Brazilian percussion and dance. And then we'll have the entertainment that we normally have in Sydney Gardens, so Afrobeat bands, cumbia, Latin acts, and we'll have a licensed bar and food traders and things. And the thinking is just if we have it all in a space where we can monitor crowds, we can do crowd management, and if there is still a legacy of some sort of social distancing and things, then we can actually put that in place, which we obviously wouldn't be able to do if we were going through the city centre. So that's what we're planning to do on Saturday the 10th. Before that, so going into May and June, we're still going to be doing our workshops. Hopefully that will be going back to live activity, going into schools, doing things face to face. Last year we did everything digitally, so it might be that we do sort of a hybrid of the two, depending on what's allowed, what's permitted at the time. But yeah, hopefully this is going to be a sort of stepping forward back into a full-scale live events, just adapted for this year before next year we go back to normality.
Fab, thank you very much. That's really exciting.
I don't
have you got
any questions, but I've got a question as usual. So obviously people will be excited to get involved on the 10th, but if people want to get involved in your community kind of build-up activities, if they want to dress up or learn how to make a costume or make a flag or whatever it is that they might be invited to do this year, when will that activity be happening and how do people find it?
Yeah, so effectively we've got all of our match funding in place bar a little bit, and Arts Council are giving us a decision at any moment, literally any day now. So once that's all in place, we are going to be announcing everything through the website, and we're putting a press release out. So the schools across Bath will all be invited to take part as they normally do. And if you've got school children that want to be involved, that will be a case of going via your school, but we'll have a list of that on the website. But we're also going to be partnering with the same community groups and the community centres and public spaces that we would normally do. So the best place to do that will be on our website, which I'm hoping the very start of May, everything will be up and in place, ready for people to sign up. And again, it will be, as always, it will be free to take part. Yeah, I should also add that the only thing that isn't free that's ticketed is we do an after party in Comedia, which is live music and DJs, which goes through till 3-4 in the morning, and that's all confirmed with them as the venue for the after party. So yeah, it will be a full sort of 10 in the morning till 4 in the morning event as usual.
So definitely one for the overnight stay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
If you don't live within rolling distance of
yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. Back to you, Emily.
We have had a couple of raised hands, I think. Holly Tarquini, would you like to ask something?
I only wanted to ask who made your video, because it's brilliant.
Yeah, I love the video.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so that's one of the things we did last year with our restrictions in place. We found that a lot of people didn't understand what the carnival was, and rather than me writing up a little brief and sending it in attachments, we thought this probably just would solve that. So it was a guy called Salvador. I can send links to his work actually. He's actually just moved to Italy, so I'm not sure if he's still available. But yeah, it was actually a really nice thing to do. So I sort of worked on the production side with him and scripting and things, and actually it was a really creative thing for our team to get involved in when we weren't really able to even leave the house, obviously. So yeah, his name's Salvador, and I'll circulate a link to his work and portfolio.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Love it.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really proud of it. Yeah.
We have had another question. Sorry, Stu. And did you say that there will be
two separate venues. We're just double checking. So it's the Rec for stage performance and Sydney Gardens for the music and food and drink.
So yeah, so no, we're not doing Sydney Gardens this year. It was a couple of things. They're still doing some works that they were planning on finishing, but obviously it's been delayed. But also because there's a lot of smaller areas in there, if we do have to do something similar to pods and stuff, it wouldn't really be feasible there. So everything will be at the Rec Ground in the city centre, and then Comedia for the after party.
Fantastic. We've got the manager of number 15 in the room, so
oh, lovely. They've got the best vantage point. Yeah, the Instagram shot is always the. We need to get a photographer up there. It's so good. That's for obviously when the procession's in full flow. Yeah.
Fab. Thank you very much. Right. So next, we move on to Bath Ball. And we've got Steph Dodd, who's going to talk us through their plans for this year, but we will start off with a short video from them. Always when I try to mute.
Everyone, thank you so much, Bath Bid, for putting this on. I'm just sat here feeling so excited now about all the events that are going to happen. I just so miss them, as I'm sure we all have over the last year. So I'm super excited to get stuck in this summer. And yeah, we're bringing Bath Ball back. It'll be 23rd to 25th of July. For those that don't know, this event, we local businesses, organisations, community groups, families, friends, by teams. We have 64 teams playing on each day, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, a mini tournament, sometimes competitive, sometimes not, a tournament of ball, and yeah, different winners crowned on each day. Street food, bars, you know, but buzzing atmosphere right in the centre of town, and all for the cause of raising money for local charities. So we're hoping to do that again this year. As many of you will know, the charities need our help more than ever, so we're really hoping to go for it this year. We're selling sponsorships for it at the moment. Teams will be very soon. We'll be announcing that via our social media channels. They usually sell really quickly. And shout out for any raffle prizes or anything like that that anybody would like to donate for the event. That would be super helpful. I'm sure, yeah, either just go through the website or use my contact details if they're circulated after this event. And that's it really, keeping it short and sweet. Looking forward to coming back.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, it's always a great fun event, and it's just, yeah, another diverse, like you said, it's very exciting summer. Seems amazing to be thinking in such kind of, yeah, about such amazing social things that we're going to be doing together. Lovely, thanks, Steph.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Right, so next we are on to Bike Bath, and we've got Richard Best here to answer any questions, but first let's take a look at their plans for this year.
Hello, Bike Bath is back. On the 22nd of August at the Rec, we look forward to welcoming over 1,000 cyclists. They'll be able to complete rides of 25, 50 and 80 miles. And this year, we've got additional starts and finishes in Frome and Devizes. For those not familiar with the event, we mark the route and cyclists simply follow a trail until they return back to their start, hopefully. It's fully supported and riders will receive a medal and food when they finish. We've been going for 10 years and the event has grown, but without the help of local businesses, it might have been a different story. I'm particularly grateful to HPH, Royds Withy King, Carter Jonas, Bath Recreation Trust, Schechters, Bath Ales, Society Cafe, to name a few. So thank you. The event supports Dorothy House Hospice, but any charity can take places and use the platform or use the event for its own fundraising efforts. It's our way of putting COVID behind us and welcoming visitors to the city and region. I'm grateful to the BID for letting us promote the event on this platform, so thank you. And if you have any questions, do get in touch. There'll be a few images flash up shortly of past events and our contact details. But hopefully the sun will be shining and we look forward to seeing you in August. Thank you.
Fab, thank you very much, Richard. I don't think we've had any questions in yet, but if you do have any questions for Richard, then do please pop them in the Q&A and we can feature them a little bit later. So next up, we've got Bathscape Walking Festival, so from cycling to walking, and we've got Lucy Bartlett here to tell us a little bit about Bathscape. So here we are. Thank you, Lucy.
Thanks ever so much. And again, thank you for having me to come along. I'm the only one who's going to do the politician thing of asking Emily to move my slides on, which is exciting. And then I'm going to finish with a video. So next slide, please, Emily. So this year's Walking Festival is 11th to the 26th of September. The first weekend features the Summer Valley Walking Festival. So we get slightly out of the city centre. And then the final Sunday is the Julian House Circuit of Bath sponsored walk, which always attracts between 500 and 1,000 walkers on that Sunday. And then in between, we've got 2 weeks of free guided walks run by local experts. So it's aimed at residents and visitors. Local people tend to find somewhere new or see familiar places in a different light. And for visitors, it's a really good way of meeting local people and finding those hidden gems. Because we're a project that's all about the landscape setting of the World Heritage Site, a lot of our walks are to the rural countryside around Bath rather than the city centre, but they really show how easy it is to reach that countryside from the city centre, making it well worth that extra night's stay. And we want the festival to showcase Bath as a walking destination. It's got fantastic walking and hiking within easy reach. Moving on, thank you. So the walks have themes: local and social history, wildlife, health walks, family activities, and so on. And this year we've got walks about architecture, about Prior Park, the history of Southdown, bat walks. We've got a walk about the LGBTQ history of Bath, urban treescape, industrial heritage, you name it, as well as what you'd expect, the rural villages and the Georgian crescents. Yep, thank you. And also building on the success of last year's slightly experimental virtual walking festival, we'll continue to have that alongside. So that will be things that people can download and try for themselves, guided walking trails, videos to inspire, nature trails, storytelling, all that sort of thing. And then, so finally, our programme will be finalised around July, and then bookings will open them probably towards the middle to the end of August, the nearer the better, so that we can be absolutely sure that all of the plans will go ahead as planned. And just to give our podcast a plug, we've started issuing a monthly podcast. There are 2 issues available at the moment, and that will carry on until September. And that features people talking about their walks, and also a little bit of extra things to tempt people to get out. So that's what the Walking Festival is all about. And the video that we'll just show is about Bath and the area as a walking destination. Thank you.
Bath is a landscape city, surrounded by green hills and valleys that come right into the city centre, making it really easy to get out and explore.
Our city provides a historic backdrop to its many green spaces.
And with 500 acres of National Trust land all around the city, a 20-minute stroll from the centre can lead you somewhere like this.
Climb higher and discover the best view in Bath, whether that's here,
all the way up here, or here with a drink in hand.
You might even make some new friends.
Go a little further and you escape the city entirely to discover hidden valleys,
picture-perfect villages,
and incredible wildlife.
Just remember to leave time for all the history.
With the wealth of public footpaths leading from the city, it is perfectly possible to get wonderful views of the countryside without taking a car.
But a bike might come in handy along our national cycle routes.
And if you don't want to cycle over the hills, you can cycle through them using the old railway tunnels.
Or perhaps floating along the water is more your thing.
However you decide to travel, whether you're a Bathonian or a visitor, why not get out and explore?
Lovely, thank you very much, Lucy.
Thank you, Lucy. I happen to know, I have it on good authority, that the walking tours as part of Bath Festival, admittedly they're very soon, are the thing that has sold out first. So what sort of numbers can you cater for on your tours? And so I'm thinking of the hotels, for example. Is it even, will everything be sold out, or is it, or is it one of those things that you've just got to be in there quick to get a ticket?
Yeah. So we can take about 20 or 30 people on most of the walks. In the last proper festival, 2019, we had 50 walks available. So there was quite a lot of capacity. That's about 1,000 people. But I think the benefit this year will also be those self-guided things. So really encouraging people to, with the resources, to get out and explore themselves if they can't make it onto one of the guided walks. But yeah, I think we've all found that walking, being outdoors, is the first thing to be relaxed and allowed, if you like, and the last thing to be cancelled. So yeah, it's always going to be popular, but that's really good to know, and we will have as many walks as we can to try and accommodate as many people as possible.
Yeah, Alison's absolutely right. It's interesting that the two, we've put on ours are themed around Bridgerton and the opening of the House of Frankenstein. And I think because they're outside, they literally did and sell out, and we're going to see if we can fit more in on the first day of general booking. And that was about, I think we're doing maximum of 12 per walk, and 10 walks for each of those. So, you know, not insignificant numbers on the first day.
Wow.
We've also had a question in about where people can find your podcast.
It's called Bathscape Footprints. So from your usual podcast provider, or whilst we're talking, I will find the link and put it in the chat.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Lucy. So next we're moving on to an event which is coming back to the city. It was last in Bath in 2017, so we're really excited to see the Great Bath Feast coming back to Bath. And we've got Gemma Thorogood who's here to talk us through, but first let's take a little look at what we can expect.
Great, thanks Emily, and yeah, to echo everybody's sentiments, thank you Bath Beard, Alison and Emily for organising this event. It is a really great opportunity to be sharing this with everybody. A return of the Great Bath Feast, as Emily said, the last one was in 2017, so we're really lucky to have been passed the mantle to share this event with you again. I've got a few slides to go through, Emily, if you wouldn't mind just skipping on to the next one, that would be great. So to give you a bit of background of who we are, I work for ILO Events, who are a Southwest based events company. So I'm the festival producer alongside a team of event managers, event coordinators, delivering events in the Southwest, mainly Cornwall. So we are behind the Porthleven Food Festival, Truro, St Ives, and recently we're bringing Rock Oyster Festival, a Greenfield festival, back to Cornwall this July as well. So really exciting to be bringing something to Bath too, and a reincarnation of, given that our headquarters is in Bath now, we're based in the centre of Bath, so it is, yeah, very much a city that's close to our hearts. So yeah, really excited to be given this opportunity to bring the Great Bath Feast back to Bath in September. If you can skip on to the next slide, that'd be great. Thanks, Emily. So just to give you, yeah, a bit more context again of those other events that we look after, the Porthleven Food Festival usually happens in July. Sadly, it has been cancelled for the second year just recently. But yeah, St Ives is coming back again, Truro and Rock Oyster in Cornwall. If you can skip over to the next slide. Thanks, Emily. But yeah, to give you a bit of flavour of what the Great Bath Feast used to be, very much a flagship event for the city. I'm sure you all know as much about it as I do or more. But yeah, it feels that it's very key to what Bath is potentially looking for in terms of a bounce back and bringing a vibe back to the streets. So yeah, with elements of what we share at other events, including the Chef's Theatre space, you'll see in that bottom left corner, that's from Truro. On the beach there, you'll see that gin bowl with Tarquins, that's from St Ives. So just bringing elements of what we do at other events in the Southwest into the picture as well. If you can scale on to the next slide. Thanks, Emily. So to give you the event overview, as I said, 24th to 26th of September is when we'll be bringing the city centre event to the city, but then we have fringe events going in across the city throughout the month of October. So the Great Bath Feast is in association with the Burton Kitchen this year. We're so so very excited by the opportunity of programming our chef's demo venue alongside Joe and Richard. So some really exciting headliner talent already coming into the mix for that. And then a buzzing market on Milsom Street, very much working in partnership with the Bid and Visit Bath to bring a buzz back to Milsom Street. Also working with the renewals team to look at some of the empty properties on Milsom Street at the moment and how we can put some of this activity, including the chef's demo venue, but also our artisan market, into buildings along that street. So expecting a high amount of visitors, if we can, over the course of the 3 days, with more so entering into the fringe events throughout the October month as well. We can skip on to the next slide, thanks. So to give you some detail, the Chef's Kitchen, as I said, that's going to be attracting local and some national talent with a lineup that's super appealing to all ages. Then going into gourmet street food that will be held on the Milsom as part of the Milsom Street Market outside. So taking on some of those parking bays going up Milsom Street towards an artisan produce market that we're looking at being in what was the old Gap building we have been looking at for that. So that will be more of an inside one-way system, and if we need to do it still in September, artisan market in there. And then a food and drinks trail that we're going to be doing alongside the Bid, which is really exciting, working with both levy payers and people that are sitting outside that at the moment to really shine a light on what they're doing in their own businesses and create a map that will feature as part of our website and be shared throughout networks, the Bid network as well, to be able to really shine a light on those dishes that should be celebrated as part of the Bath food and hospitality trail as such. So then we'll be looking at some spaces as well to host some food talks. We're talking about doing cheese chats and maybe some other talks around certain ethical dilemmas. This needs to be put into more detail as we get a little bit further through the roadmap as to what we can really hold inside in September. And then, yeah, this is a bit more detail on the Bath Bites Trail and the fringe events that will be held. The fringe events, as I said, throughout October are very much shining a light again on the businesses in the hospitality industry around the city and putting masterclasses and chef demos into those spaces. So it will be working with those businesses to come up with ideas for holding their own events in the month of October as a kind of, it will be put out as a call for events in May, when we'll be asking people what events they might like to put on in their own cafes or in their own hotels. So it'd be great to speak to some people after this session about some of the hoteliers about being involved with that. If we could move on to the next slide. So far, yeah, Richard is going to be helping us as programming our chef lineup in the chef demo venue. Then we've got Chris Cleghorn attached, Richard Buckley from Acorn, or actually known as Oak now, and Ping Coombs attached so far. So very much building our program, but alongside Richard and Joe Burtonay helping us with that. Next slide, please. So yeah, and just a thank you. If anybody has any inquiries to do with content curation, if you'd like to email me, that's my email address there, gemma@ilobhq.com, or to do with brand partnerships, there's Amy, and marketing is Vicky. Thanks so much.
Fab, thank you so much, Gemma. I'm just going to really quickly move on to Bath Digital Festival. We've got Dave Kelly who needs to leave shortly. So we'll move on to him. And if you've got any questions for Gemma, please do pop them in the Q&A and we will go back to them.
Thank you ever so much. I know there are some slides that Becky sent in, which are just going to run through as images. So you can do that either before, after, or during at your leisure. Again, huge thanks to everyone from Bath Bid for putting this together, just echoing some of the previous words. The Bath Digital Festival, it's an annual week-long series of events that take place in October each year. Just to give you some kind of background on the kind of the national scene that we're essentially trying to support locally. The UK tech venture capital investments, it's the third highest in the world, over 15 billion invested in 2020, with the UK tech startup ecosystem valued at nearly 600 billion. The Southwest's got nearly 18,000 digital tech firms, and tech is becoming more important to the UK economy. Its GVA actually has grown by 7% each year since 2016. And since the festival was founded in 2011, we've been trying to make sure that national scene, which has been growing, is celebrated in what turns out to be one of the most wonderful and beautifully inventive cities, where hidden behind the Georgian facade are a huge proportion of digital technology companies and a population who are just lifelong learners. So we aim to bring together people and technology and basically explore that space in between the two for the thriving digital scene in Bath. We promote and advance the technical sector in the region and try and provide a platform to educate, to share, to create excitement around the innovation and opportunity. So the festival this October will be for all ages and abilities, all backgrounds, and hopefully we'll take everybody on a digital journey of discovery, as well as celebrating some of those amazing stories. This year is going to be a hybrid of virtual and face-to-face events. So last year we ran it as a fully virtual festival. And actually last year was one of the most successful festivals due to the virtual nature. We had an international audience. And we're really hoping that this year, last year's international audience will stay on. And indeed, we'll get a UK audience so that we can continue to bring people to Bath in future years. And whilst we kind of have our fingers crossed that the stars may align for some other international audience to visit come this year, where we're not going to count our chickens quite yet, although that is definitely what we're hoping. So programming is currently ongoing. We had 60 events last year, and that's relatively typical over the 5 days. Just to give you kind of a few that come to mind in terms of staple events, we've got coding for kids, we fly drones, we've got the Southwest's biggest tech awards, digital readiness seminars for businesses and indeed for individuals. We had keynote talks from Cole Needham, the founder of IMDb, from entrepreneur Margaret Heffernan last year. We had cybersecurity events. Members of the Google AI Council were talking about the future of AI. And indeed, the year before last, we've had physical humanoid robots roaming around the city. Hack days. And most of all, a kind of a host of educational settings for all age groups, whether or not you want to do something practical or just learn a little bit more. And indeed, this year, the theme and the focus, alongside our usual celebration of digital and tech, is around skills and talents, because we're looking to support the growth of that digital skills gap. And indeed, the monumental digital baptism that our population has undergone during the course of the pandemic. We've actually managed to put together a series of events that we hope will be supporting those who are reskilling into a digital workforce. So the festival runs from the 19th to the 23rd of October. And in the run up to it, we're actually going to be leading the Digital Skills Exchange, which basically entails local businesses and tech businesses opening their doors to those who would like to learn a little bit more about either working with or indeed for those organizations in the future. So we're hoping that we're going to see our international audience return virtually, most likely, but our national audience, we're hoping will be here in person, celebrating with us and indeed enjoying the best of the technology scene, both locally and indeed in the Southwest. For anybody who wants to see the programme as it develops, bath@digitalfestival.co.uk, that will be there. There's a mailing list as well, which I would encourage you all to join, or indeed follow Bath Digital, that's at Bath Digital on Twitter, where you will get plenty of opportunities to come along. And I'm afraid, yes, I will get a fine if I don't get to my son's preschool in time to pick him up. So I'm going to have to ask questions to follow me. So please send them in by email, or there is a form on the Bath Digital Festival website, and you can stick anything you want in there. And I'll be delighted to get back to you all about that. And hopefully some of you will be able to join us at the festival.
Thank you so much, Dave.
No problem at all. Take care. Cheers.
Lovely. I don't think we've had any more questions in, so I think we can probably carry on to our next festival, which is Film Bath Festival. So we've got Holly Tarquinian to tell us about her plans for this year's festival.
Hello, thank you very much for having me. This is amazing and lovely to hear that we might kind of come back to some sort of normal existence. So I'm going to...
Holly, you're very quiet.
Oh, that's because I turned my microphone down because it was all it was so loud in my ear. Give me a second. How's this? You better? Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, that sounds a bit louder.
Hello? Can you hear me at all?
Yes, lovely.
How about now?
Perfect.
I can't hear you, so I don't know whether you can hear me or not.
Yes, that's
I'm
good.
going to assume that you can hear me. Send me a message on chat if you can't hear me. Okay, so I'm going to run through for you what we do at Film Bath. We changed from Bath Film Festival to Film Bath because there are so many things we do as well as the film festival. These are the 5 things that we do. The first that I'm going to tell you about is the IMDb Awards. So these are annual awards to support emerging filmmakers. The first one is for script writers. Anybody in the world can send us their script for a short film. We read them, we choose the best 5, and they have a rehearsed read through in front of a live audience and remarkable people from the film industry who come and judge them. It's always a really fantastic night. Last year we did it online. Usually we do it in Comedia. The winner gets £5,000 cash and £1,000 worth of hire kit, and they have to make the film over the summer, which we then premiere at the film festival in November. The second one is the IMDb New Filmmaker Award, and that is for anybody who's made a short film, 10 minutes or under. Again, we choose the best 5, have a lovely gala evening. The last one that we did in the flesh, we had an amazing cheese board set out down tables in Comedia. Fantastic people from the film industry that have made films that you would have all heard of. And the winner receives £1,000 cash, £1,000 worth of hire kit, and we help them to get that film screened at other film festivals. So those are the IMDb Awards. The F rating is a feminist film rating, which I founded in 2014. It's applied to all films which are directed and or written by women. It was added to, it's now on nearly 30,000 titles on IMDb. And the reason that's really important is because films made by women tend to not get as much money, nearly as much money spent on promoting them. So even when they're astonishingly brilliant, you don't get to hear about them as much as the other films. It's also used by 90 other organisations to highlight films which are directed and or written by women. And like everybody else in the world, we've got a new podcast coming out, which is launching in autumn. Film Club is something that we set up before lockdown, which was fantastic. So the idea behind it was like a book group, to have really interesting films, interesting speakers, all come together, watch them communally, because that's what we love doing, and then have a kind of dinner club afterwards where you can, if you want, eat with other people or just eat with your friends and family and talk about the film. And we're looking at how we can do that if we need to be socially distanced inside. Obviously, like everybody else, there's a huge, huge knock on if everybody has to be a metre apart inside. So watch the space for that one. We've always done pop-up screenings, so lots of you will remember having 850 people and an orchestra of 23 inside Bath Abbey, which was an amazing, amazing night. We've done things at Bath City Farm, Wells Cathedral. We had a really lovely, that one that you can see the picture of with the tiger was like a mini festival in Fox Hill where we had lots of food trucks there as well. And I'm talking to the American Museum, hoping that we're going to be able to do some partnering with them this year and some outdoor screenings. Last year, because we obviously couldn't have our usual film festival, we ran 2 film festivals, a digital one and a physical one in Green Park Station, both of which were phenomenally successful and well attended. So the film festival, which is our main activity, happens every November. This is going to be our 31st year of running a film festival in Bath. The festival usually lasts 11 days. We screen between 45 and 50 feature films at 6 venues or more around town, and we have around 4,500 bums on seats. For our digital festival, we had around 11,000 because obviously that was available to everybody in the UK. This is our reach, so we have fantastic following and reach on social media. Mostly people come from a 40-mile radius. Of all the festivals in Bath, we apparently, according to the audience agency, have the biggest cross-section across through the ages, because cinema appeals to a massively broad demographic. So if you're looking for somewhere to support the arts, we're your place. Put your money into the film festival. And yes, if you want to get in touch, I'm Holly Tarquini, holly@filmbath.org.uk, and we're at Filmbath UK on all the social media channels. Thank you very much.
Fab, thank you, Holly. Let's have a look. Have we had any questions? No, not yet. Lovely. Okay, well, we've got 3 more events coming up. I know we have had a lot of content today, but really exciting that we've got so many things coming up over the next year. So next we are moving on to Bath Mozart Fest and Bath Bark Fest, and we have Julie Peacock and Emma Cross who are here to take questions. But first we will take a look at a short video about their plans for the year.
I'm Julie Peacock. I'm Head of Communications for Bath Mozart Fest and Bath Bark Fest. Bath Mozart Fest, now in its 30th year, is a major international classical music festival. Its newer sister festival, Bath Bark Fest, has been going for 10 years. We sell over 10,000 tickets per annum for these 2 festivals, bringing visitors to the city every February and November, filling local hotels, restaurants, shopping, and enjoying other visitor attractions too. They contribute significantly to Bath's reputation as a cultural destination. We managed to present 2 festivals during lockdown, without audiences, but live streamed in conjunction with the Wiltshire Music Centre down the road in Bradford-on-Avon. This enabled us to remain connected with our loyal audience and also to attract many new supporters from across the globe who joined us from the comfort of their own homes. I thought you'd like to see what we actually did, so here are some very short clips. Well, we are, of course, making future plans, and we're really looking forward to returning to Bath this year. In November, our plans are for a hybrid festival with a smaller, socially distanced live audience plus live streaming. Dates for your diary are the Bath Mozart Fest, Saturday 13th to Saturday 20th November this year, and next year's Barkfest will be Thursday the 17th to Saturday the 19th of February. We hope to see you there then. Meantime, if you'd like to know more, please contact our Marketing and Development Director, Jackie Inverdale, or myself, Julie Peacock. The details will be in the information packs you receive after this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Julie. Let's have a look at our questions. No, we are all answered on our questions so far. Please do add them if you have any more. Now, next, we are moving on to Bath at Christmas. So one of the big moments of the year. Last year, the Bath Bid worked really closely with stakeholders in the city, including Bath and North East Somerset Council, Visit Bath, and lots of the event organisers that we've seen today, including Bath Festivals and Bath Carnival, to deliver a socially distanced Christmas activities and events in the city to make sure it was magical despite the circumstances. So that included our Bath Christmas Light Trail, which you can see on the screen there, which was really, really popular, and a whole selection of different festive, socially distanced events. So this year, we will be doing the same. Essentially, we'll be working with all of the stakeholders in the city to deliver another cohesive Bath at Christmas set of activities and experiences. Of course, normally one of the key events in the city over the Christmas period is Bath Christmas Market. So the team at Bath and North East Somerset Council are working on the market at the moment, and they're just essentially working on the options that they have. So no announcements yet, but we really do hope to see something really exciting in the city this Christmas period. So that's Bath at Christmas. Do continue to pop any questions in the Q&A that you have, but we're actually moving on now to our final event, and that is the Bath Half, an event that I have good and also not so good memories of taking part in. So let's take a look at their video, and we are introducing Ben Taylor to talk us through their plans for this and next year. Lovely. So welcome along, Ben.
Hello, it's Andrew actually, and I'm on Ben's login, so my apologies for that. I'm slightly conscious of time and people's attention span as well. So we have a PowerPoint presentation, but I think if we can probably whip through it quite quickly, Emily, if that's possible. So those of you that are not familiar with the event, it's all about physical fitness. It's around charity fundraising, it's around community, and it's the biggest free to spectate event in the city. So our 2021 event's been postponed from March to September, and our 22 event will provisionally be on the 13th of March, returning to its traditional date on the second week of March. So a participant profile, we have 15,000 participants in the half marathon. We have around about 30,000 spectators around the course route and the venue, and we have about 1,000 community volunteers that work for us. And it's been going now for 40 odd years. So we have it's an adult event in the half marathon, over 17-year-olds. We attract sort of mixed ages. Around half of entrants are in that younger age group, 25 to 44, and a pretty much equal split of men and women. Around half the entrants are from local Bath and Bristol postcodes, but we do have a significant participation also from London and the South East. So traditionally, you won't find a hotel bed in the city for that Saturday night. Trying to push it into the 2-week stay if we can. It'll be interesting to see, what that September profile looks like. In terms of charities, so we are the largest charity fundraising event in the southwest of England. We have one of the largest, or the highest page values for any running event outside London, and we raise about 2.5 million pounds a year. Of which 0.8 to £1 million a year for local charities. And you can see there the growth in the charity revenue across the event over the last 20 years since we have managed the event. And the event has a massive impact locally. So we're looking at, over the last 20 years, RUH Forever Friends Appeal, it's just under £1 million, same for Dorothy House, and two of our larger national charities are have raised over £1 million at the event. In terms of the role within the city, running is the most popular sport in the UK, so it's the only sport to have increased in participation levels since the London Olympics. Exercise is the magic bullet in terms of lifestyle-related diseases and COVID as well, and mental health. This lack of exercise is what is choking the NHS and has largely got us where we are with this COVID pandemic, and it's true across the whole of the world. So we are about putting physical fitness at the forefront of the recovery from COVID and building resilience against the next pandemic. And events such as ours, they provide a gateway for beginners into exercise, they inspire participation, and we provide a focus for those regular runners that are already interested in sport. And in terms, obviously, in terms of COVID risk, outdoor transmission is very low risk, if not minimal. So we're a sustainable event. We're the first road race in the UK and the first public event in this city to win a Greener Festival award. We're very proud of that from last year. And our core, we are a locally based company. We've been organising the event since 2020, and since 2000. We have links with national race organisers. And our passion is around physical fitness, charity fundraising, and making a difference in the heart of Bath. So public entries for this year's race are largely sold out. There will still be a further release of entries shortly. And obviously we will shortly be opening for entries for March 22. So I've cut that fairly short because I'm conscious of time, but happy to receive any entries. I think one thing that we do, we are about bringing the streets to life, reclaiming the streets for the pedestrians as against the domination by the motorists, and also showcasing the city in an extraordinary way, in a way that you don't normally see it. So the event threads through the city centre, through some of the highest profile streets, the buildings in the city, and provides a great backdrop for community celebration. Thank you, Emily.
Fab, thank you very much. That was very long, but just a taster of all of the incredible events that are taking place in the city. over the next year. For example, we've got the Jane Austen Festival, who are planning to celebrate their 20th year in September. We've got general booking for Iford Arts Festival just outside the city that's just open. And we've even got the first ever Bath Reggae Festival, which is coming up in August of this year. So if we have any final questions, have we got anything in our Q&A?
We've just from Emma, who's saying that she's really keen to feature the events. She's from well, what used to be the Bath Chronicle, but I'm not
live.
It's called now Reach anyway. If Emma, in the first instance, you get in touch with Emily, she's got all of the contact details, and if there's any particular information you want. And similarly to the other people from the press who are in the room, we've got all these fantastic videos, and it would be lovely if appropriate, if you wanted to show any of those, because I think it's a great way of showcasing the city. And even if people don't choose to come to that event, they might be inspired. Much as Ben said, it's lovely to see the city full of runners instead of full of cars. It's just nice to see the city through a different lens, if you like. So we can also pass that that information if anybody wants anything like that.
Yes, and I will be sending around tomorrow morning a link to this video if you'd like to watch it again, and also a bit of a press pack with the various details from the different event organisers. I'd really like to say thank you to everybody for attending. We really hope that this has filled you with a bit of excitement and joy for the year ahead. Thank you so much to the event organisers. And I want to say a really big thank you to Emma Frayling from Visit Bath, who has just really supported me, and without whom this event wouldn't have happened. So thank you to everybody. Please do get in touch if you have any more questions. And yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything more from you, Alison?
And then obviously we need to thank you, Emily, because I just had the idea and said, Emily, make this happen. And look, she did. So it's fantastic. And I just think I've been really inspired by how all of our event organisers have kind of adapted to this blended online kind of reality and used it as an opportunity. And I guess that's what I was trying to jump on with this idea, was that actually you'd never sit in front of all of the event organisers at once, but you all being able to beam in from your homes has really given us the opportunity to understand the kind of diversity of what's on offer this summer. So yeah, thank you to everybody who's taken the time. It has been a long meeting, but we kind of knew it was going to be long. We did originally put it in for 2 hours, so you're lucky. You're getting away as early as you can, and I just can't wait for to see you all at all of your various events, and to be able to welcome visitors back to the city and locals in huge numbers. So obviously appropriate numbers, not huge numbers. But anyway, thank you all very much.